is week 5, and we're doing some more picks in the NFL against the spread. I got the two fellas over here laughing, but that doesn't mean we're not going to get right into it. So, Chris, what's first on deck?
All right, well, it's good to be back. I wasn't here last week.
You were in hiding after Dallas's horrible performance.
Let's just say I wasn't feeling too well. I was under the weather with the cold, but I did get my picks in, as you saw at the end of the last video. But as far as a recap, as far as current up-to-date, we have Gerald and myself tied for first at 29, 33, and 1. Gerald did pretty bad last week, holding a record of 4 and 12. He picked teams like the Browns to cover and so forth, so he tried to separate himself, but got caught up in there. Justin made a huge comeback, only 2 games behind us in first place at 27, 35, and 1. You went 9 and 7 last week, so your picks were spot on. So let's see if you can keep it up for this week. We got a lot of good games, a lot of new updates as far as injuries, people that won't be playing. So I'm excited to hear what you guys will think and can't wait for the games to start.
Let's do it!
Alrighty. So first we have Thursday night's game. Now this is a big one. We have New England going to Tampa. New England is a -5, but let's preface this by saying we just found out about 10 to 15 minutes ago Rob Gronkowski is not playing. We've all seen what the Patriots defense hasn't been able to do. They gave up the most points so far in the season. Justin, -5 on the road. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's not an easy pick to make, especially with Gronk being out. But whenever you're giving me the Patriots with like less than a 7-point spread, I'm usually going to take them, and I think I will here. I think that yes, their defense hasn't shown much this year, and they're missing a Gronkowski, but they got other playmakers on the offense. They got Tom Brady and Belichick. I think it's enough to get them over the hump and cover that.
So they went to Best Buy, actually found a warehouse worker back there working, slinging TVs. He's going to be their tight end tonight. Yeah, they're going to win. I think they're going to cover that spread. I don't see them losing 2 weeks in a row. Any other team, maybe, but I don't see the Patriots being that team that loses more than 2 times, if any, in a row. So, yeah, for sure, Patriots are covering it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Patriots. Let's hope we're not wrong again, because usually when
this has happened on Thursday night games.
But like Justin said, you're talking 6 points, 2 touchdowns. Like you said, anytime you give me Tom Brady, I'm going to go with him. Jameis Winston does take chances, so I think the defense has the ability to maybe make some plays. I think it will be high scoring. I think like maybe in the upper 20s, maybe mid-30s. But if you're asking me it's going to be a shootout and Tom Brady's going to have the ball last, I'm going to go with Tom Brady all day. We'll see what happens. It is in Tampa, so...
It should also be noted that the Buccaneers have some secondary injuries on their defense as well. So we could be looking at 2 crap defenses and, like Chris said, a shootout.
That is correct. If I'm not mistaken, T.J. Ward is not playing, and I think J.J. Wilcox is banged up as well. But T.J. Ward, I think, is definitely out for tonight, as well as you said, like another corner. But that leads us into our Sunday game starting at 1 o'clock. We have Arizona going to Philadelphia. Arizona is a +6 on the road. We all saw what Philly did last week, and we also saw what Arizona did. So, Justin, how do you feel? Arizona +6 in Philly.
Yeah, it's another one where the spread makes it kind of tough. But I'll go with Philly here, -6, right? -6?
-6 at home.
I like Philly at home here. The Cardinals, they're a bit shaky this year, and you just don't really know what you're going to get. So I like the Eagles better.
Yeah, for sure. The Eagles are... I'm predicting them, despite the jersey this kid is wearing next to me. NFC East champions. I'm predicting them. I did it last year. I was horribly wrong. This year I feel good about these kids. I feel good about the Eagles here.
They'll choke.
And no, not exactly. Just like your running back. Oh. Anyways, the Eagles for sure are going to cover this spread.
All right, I'm going to go with Arizona. I think Arizona showed me something last week or the past couple weeks. Even in their losses, they did put up some points. I think, Philly has a good defense, but one thing that is underrated is Arizona's defense. Arizona's a top 10 defense every single year. We've been for the past 5 years. And I just think, the connection with Larry Fitzgerald and some of their weapons on the outside, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're getting back one of the speedy receivers, John Brown, this week, so that could make an impact. But I'm going to go with Arizona on the road. I expect them still lose, but it may be by a field goal, maybe 24-20, something along those lines.
Well, your pick is locked in now, but I will remind the viewers, you said before you were never going to pick Arizona again.
I did. But, okay. No, that is correct. Justin did remind me of that.
A man of his word.
But I think I had to go with Arizona just for that Philly comment that Gerald made. So I really need Philly to lose this week because this is a huge week for Dallas and the NFC East. So we'll see what happens. But Justin, thanks for calling me out. I appreciate that.
Justin keeping the facts straight.
Exactly. So that leads us into another 1 o'clock matchup. We have Buffalo going to Cincy. Buffalo all surprised this last week in an on-the-road matchup in Atlanta, beating Atlanta. But we have Buffalo in Cincy. Buffalo was a plus 2.5, which would imply that Cincy would have to win by a field goal. Justin, who do you like?
Why is Buffalo plus 2.5? Give me Buffalo all day here, man. I'm benching Dalton in both my fantasy leagues. He's going to suck ass this week. That Buffalo defense is for real, let me tell you.
Oh, my God. Yeah. If you had told me Buffalo would be leading the AFC East, I would say you're smoking crack. But surely we all are smoking crack because Buffalo's in the lead. And the Patriots are actually in third. What's that about? So,
it's a big week.
I don't know. If Tyrod Taylor somehow wants to finagle a deal where he can get traded back to the Ravens and get rid of Flacco, I'd be super happy about that. For that, again, 2.5 spread. Yeah, I'm as astonished as Justin. Yeah, Buffalo. Man, Cincinnati ain't got a chance in hell.
I'm going to go with Buffalo as well. I think Justin,
we just
despite
jinxed them. Damn it.
despite how animated Justin was when talking about that, he did raise some valid points. Buffalo's run defense is legit. They are solid on defense, and for some odd reason, the offense is just clicking, and they're finding ways to win games. So I'm going to go with Buffalo on the road. I don't even, obviously 2.5, not that much of a spread. I expect them to win straight up. Andy Dalton, like you said, is just going to have fits with this defense. I mean, he had fits with Houston. He had fits early on in the season, not being able to score a touchdown, I think, the first 2 games. So him seeing a solid defense and with Cincinnati not being able to get the run game going early, Dalton's going to be in trouble. The receivers are going to get frustrated. I like Buffalo to win straight up.
Yeah, Dalton's been very matchup dependent. He does well against the weak defenses, but there's stronger defenses he really struggles. And Eifert's going to be out again. Their other tight end that he was using a lot last week is dealing with an injury, probably going to play, but might not be as good. So it just limits his weapons even more. So we'll see what happens, though.
Right. Sheamus is not winning.
So that leads us into, here's an interesting matchup. We have Tennessee, who, by the way, is Marcus Mariota-less this week, and for the next couple weeks, I should say, going to Miami. Miami is a plus 3 at home. Miami kind of shit the bed in London last week, losing 20-0, I think, to the Saints. So we have Tennessee minus 3 on the road. If you were to ask me as of right now who's starting for Tennessee, I'm not quite sure. I saw an interview with Mike Mularkey, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he mentioned something about T.J. Yates and somebody else. So it could be them. They mentioned T.J. Yates was in the system for a couple years or knows the offense. But Tennessee minus 3 on the road. Justin.
So the Titans just got their defense carved up last week by the Texans. We also look at the fact that the shaky quarterback situation, it's not that hard of a pick for me. I'm taking Miami, what was it, plus 3?
Miami's plus 3 at home.
Yeah, plus you give them the plus 3 advantage, and the other team has some defense woes, some quarterback woes. I think Miami's the easy pick here.
Yeah, I mean, you said Brandon Weeden was signed to Tennessee, and they have T.J. Yates.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, the blind leading the blind here. I mean, you could have signed Kaepernick and at least had the same system and a chance of winning. But you're heading to Miami. Again, Miami's just as shit of a team, but for sure, I think Miami's at least going to cover the spread. I don't care who wins or loses. This is a horrible game, honestly, but Miami's definitely going to win it.
Yeah, I'm going to lead off by saying this is one game I will not watch. If it comes on Red Zone, I will turn the channel off of it. But I'll take just a team with the points. I'll take Miami here at home. Like I said, Justin mentioned Tennessee's defense got carved up by Deshaun Watson. I think it was because he was a little bit more mobile. Now, Jay Cutler can still sling the ball. I do question his work ethic and his passion for the game, but I'll just take the home team with the points. This game's gonna be sloppy. I mean, it may even be like a 17-14 game or something like that. But I'll just take the home team with the points. Then it leads us into an NFC matchup. We have Carolina coming off of a huge win against New England, if anybody watched the game, going to Detroit. Detroit's playing very well this year, early on, in the NFC North. So Detroit is a -2.5 at home, implying they'd have to win by a field goal. Justin, I'm curious to see what you think about this. Cam's starting to get his groove back a little bit, but you did call for a big year for him.
Yeah, it's a close call. It's a close call, but so this is Detroit at home with a +3.
No, Detroit's at home -2.5, implying they'd have to win by 3.
Oh, okay. Well, honestly, yeah, that changes things for me. If they had the plus, I probably would have went with them. I mean, because the Lions do have the strong defense, but I mean, the Panthers, honestly, their defense has been bad against good offenses, but when they play like middling offenses, they do pretty well. So I actually like the Panthers here with the plus.
I don't know. I'm looking for the BYU man, Ziggy Ansah, to get after Cam Newton, give him something to run about, honestly. That defense has been really good, and the offense is just good enough, and they're good enough to keep them 3-1. I mean, Detroit's a solid team in the North, and I think they're going to – I don't know if they're going to steamroll through Carolina, because Carolina looked really good against the Patriots, who, honestly, it's a Patriots defense that obviously is not a defense the Patriots have ever had in the history of, at least modern history. But I think for sure, yeah, Detroit at home, they're covering that spread easily.
I'm going to go with Detroit as well. I do like Matt Stafford as far as just everything he's about, the type of person he is. I think the offense is really clicking. Like Justin said, their pass rush is decent. It can be better. Now, the secondary is a little bit shaky. But there are some questions with Carolina. I'm going to go with the home team here. And like I said, it's only by a field goal. And, I mean, there's been games early on this season and last season where Matt Stafford has came back and put his team in a position where they went up by a touchdown, or Matt Prater ended up kicking the game-winning field goal. So I'm going to go with Detroit at home.
All right.
And that leads us into an interesting AFC matchup. I already know who I'm picking. But Jacksonville is going to Pittsburgh in Heinz Field. Jacksonville is a +9.
Wow.
I'll take Jacksonville +9. I think whenever you have a wide spread like this, I think you get into danger when you're talking about a team that has a weak defense and a weak offense. But in this case, the team does have a strong defense. Yes, the offense is shaky, but with a +9, I think that's a wide enough margin of safety for me to bet on the Jaguars.
I don't feel good about this game being victimized by both teams. I just got to go who played the best.
I didn't want to bring it up yet.
Well, I got the joke out of the way. Don't worry. I got more for you later. Anyways, I'm going to go with the team that obviously did worse to the Ravens. I'm going to go with Jacksonville covering this spread, honestly. Jacksonville, I mean, they have their good points. They have their bad points, but their good points have been really, really good. They put up a lot of points against the Ravens defense in England, and they put up quite a – I mean, they're 2-2, which for the Jacksonville Jags, I mean, that's pretty good. The Steelers, of course, yeah, they're playing. They're the number 1 team in the AFC North, but, I mean...
Yeah, because they stomped out their opponent last week. But
you ever find a T-shirt that fits Zeke? I mean, does he have a T-shirt that fits yet? I mean, what's going on with Dallas?
He buys them on sale.
Anyways, as I was saying before I rudely interrupted, Jacksonville covering this spread, honestly.
So I was going to pick Jacksonville until I heard both of their picks. So I'm going to go with Pittsburgh on this one. At home, winning by at least 10, maybe even 2 touchdowns.
Hey, listen, that game's at 1. We'll be at work. I'll be able to talk crap to you about it.
Ben Roethlisberger called out Antonio Brown for throwing a tantrum on the sideline. I think they hook up for maybe 2 touchdowns this week. And one person on defense I absolutely love when it comes to Pittsburgh is Ryan Shazier. I think he's the glue to that defense. He's going to hold it together. Like I said, Jacksonville has been prone to turnovers. You still have Blake Bortles. I mean, every 1 week he could look like the MVP. They beat on some trash team in London. Not going to say who it was. They were purple and black, but that's a completely different story. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh at home by at least 10, maybe 2 touchdowns. See how he's silent because he has nothing to say.
One second. How did your team do against Dallas again?
We went into their stadium. We showed him who's boss.
Y'all showed him up in Dallas. In Dallas. In Jerry's world. What? Get out of here.
Anyway. His comeback was bringing up a completely different team. But okay. So we're going to go into another, what looks like shit show. We have the Jets going to Cleveland. Now,
listen, the Jets are number 2. I mean, they're second.
I mean, that's true, but like I said, I don't know. I just can't find anything to like about them. But Jets going to Cleveland. Cleveland is a -1.5, which, I mean, isn't that big of a spread. It can make a difference if it's a 21-20 game. But Jets +1.5 on the road in Cleveland. Justin, how do you feel? Tough one, ain't it?
It's a tough one. Honestly, you could like flip a coin on this, but
right.
I'll go ahead and take the Browns, the home team. I mean, the Jet. Like, here's the thing that could be the X factor: is the Browns have a very weak secondary, but they've been respectable against the run. And I think the Jets' best playmakers on offense are their running backs. So if the running backs can be held in check, maybe Cleveland can see this through.
Possible. But it is Cleveland. And I don't care where you play, it's Cleveland. Now the Jets, I don't know what team they've somehow developed to maintain some type of offense and, their record.
You picked Cleveland last week to cover. They lost by 24, but okay. Go ahead.
Dang, yo. This man.
This one's a very small spread. It's basically
I love him though, but I'm going to go with the Jets, honestly. I think, honestly, I just have a feeling about it. I don't think Cleveland's going to show up. I mean, again, they did lose huge last week. So they're probably going to lose huge this week.
I'm going to go with the Jets as well. The quarterback for the Jets, McCown, he used to play for the Browns. So he kind of knows the defense well. And like I said, the Jets' offense isn't great. It isn't good, but it's not bad. It's working at the moment right now. I mean, like I said, and they're not playing top-notch competition. So, I mean, if they're playing a completely different team in the AFC, then I may think twice about it. But they're playing Cleveland. Like I said last week, Cleveland finds ways to lose games. I think 2 weeks ago, they were playing the Colts. I was the only one on the panel that picked the Colts to win because Cleveland just loses. But I'm picking the Jets here. I say they just went straight up. I don't even care about the 1.5 points. So then we have L.A. Chargers. I believe Justin picked them last week to cover. They didn't, but... we have L.A. going to New York. Obviously, the Giants are 0-4. This is a huge week. I couldn't be happier that the Giants are 0-4. But the Chargers are +3.5 on the road. Justin.
What's hard about this is I feel like both these teams are kind of like overdue to win a game in a way.
They both are 0-4. So it's nobody's going to remain defeated after this week.
But in this instance... I just feel more comfortable taking the home team for some reason. I don't know. I mean, it is tough to call this, but the Giants at home, 0-4, you just feel like they're overdue for a win. I mean, so are the Chargers, though. So, I mean, it's hard to say, but this isn't one I'd put a bet on personally, but I will go ahead and take the Giants.
Not a gambler's game right here. Again, both... winless teams, and I love the famous Owen jokes on Facebook, so keep those memes coming, so somebody's going to continue to be 0-5. Will it be LA is my question. I think for sure I'm going to go with the Giants, honestly. I think they're traveling across the country. I don't see LA really doing good. I mean, the Redskins went out there and handled business. They did what they had to do, but the LA Chargers are no Redskins, and I never thought I'd say those words in my life. So, yeah, I'm definitely going with the Giants this week.
I'm going to disagree with you guys. I'm going to go with LA.
You're hoping.
I'm saying they're calling for Ben McAdoo's head in New York after this week. If they go 0-5, there's a chance possible that he may not be the coach next year. He was brought in to kind of bring Eli in and kind of recoach him on this offense, and I just don't think it's working. And with their offense, it's very predictable. The offensive line, especially the left tackle position with Eric Flowers, he's a liability. So defenses know that Eli has 2.5 seconds to throw the ball and get it out of the pocket. Now, if you think about running routes as a receiver, from a defense standpoint, okay, well, that gets rid of the post route, that gets rid of a fly route, a seam route, when you have to wait for those plays to develop. So you have a screen, a slant, a skinny post, a seam, or a drag route. So it gets rid of almost about 40% of offensive and wide receiver routes. I'm going to go with LA on the road here. The only thing I am worried about is the travel, them going across the country. But +3, I mean, even if they lose by 3 to New York, I still win. I'm going to go with Phillip Rivers. I just think they're the more desperate team here. And like I said, I expect it to erupt in New York after Frontline head, and it's going to be over over top of the Yankees losing Game 1 to Cleveland later on tonight. But yeah, Ben McAdoo, he's going to be out after this week.
Bold prediction, huh?
It ain't that bold, man. This is another.
Telling you, 0-5. I mean, I would.
It's a sorry game.
I would look at it. I mean, I think since Odell's been on the team, they haven't made the playoffs. They haven't won a playoff game. So I mean, even though he is obviously one of the top 3 receivers, there's something the coach isn't doing. Just like I think Marvin Lewis should have been going a long time ago in Cincinnati. But,
being called that, I don't even know how the man still has a job.
But So
moving on.
Yep, that leads us into another 1 o'clock game. We have San Fran at Indy. It's a pick'em game. There's no spread. Brian Hoyer going against Jacoby Brissett. Andrew Luck said he will play later on the season. There's no doubt, but not in Week 5. Justin,
straight up pick'em, huh? I'll go with San Fran actually. I think it's one of those, and very few situations I would take San Fran, especially with a no spread, but I don't know, man. Like the Colts, I'm just not like sold on him with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, he's kind of like he'll have decent games, he'll have bad games. We'll see what happens. I mean, they do have home field advantage, but I just have a feeling the 49ers will get the running game going in this, and that'll be like the difference maker.
Not in Indy. I just no. San Francisco 49ers are garbage. Indianapolis, honestly, without Andrew Luck is garbage. But that garbage is at home, so I'm going with that piece of garbage, and that's Indy.
I'm going to go with San Fran on this one. San Fran put up a very good fight against lost the LA Rams 2 weeks ago. They only lost by 2. Almost coming back and winning the game or tying it at the end of regulation. But I'm going to go with San Fran on this one. Like Justin said, I think their run game will get going. And, I mean, the Colts just aren't dependable on any side of the ball, especially the defensive side. Brian Hoyer likes to take deep shots down the field. So I'm going to roll with San Fran, the road team, on this one. Then it leads us into our slate of 4 o'clock games. We have Baltimore going to Oakland. Oakland is a -4. Remember, Derek Carr is not playing. Derek Carr is out several weeks with a back injury. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not sure who will be starting for the Raiders. I'd have to look it up to see who the backup would be. But
I believe it. I'm not even gonna take a guess.
But we have Baltimore +4 on the road in Oakland. West Coast game. Justin, how do you feel?
I just don't feel like you can pick the Raiders here unless you're going to think that they're just going to run it down the Ravens' throat all game. But if they're missing their top quarterback, and the Ravens surely know that, they can just key in on the run game anyway. So Ravens +4, yeah, I'm taking the Ravens.
Here we go.
It breaks my heart this season. And we could probably do another 15-minute episode talking about this. It's been tough, fellas. Joe Flacco's got to go. I'm going to say it on camera. Joe Flacco's got to go. I don't know, maybe someone in the front office may need to go too, but until those two things happen, I don't think it's going to be pretty in Baltimore, unfortunately, and it breaks my heart to say it. I'm going with Oakland. Sad as it is, they don't have Derek Carr. Look, the Ravens couldn't even go to England and put up more than 10 points against the Jaguars. Nah. Going with Baltimore. going with Oakland.
What a terrible fan. I mean, who goes against their own team?
It's hard!
But
it's hard!
Yeah,
very hard.
Marshawn Lynch just called me and said, you know why I'm here. So I'm going to go with Oakland at home. I just think that Baltimore's offense is very sketchy right now. And I don't think it's personnel. I think it's just play calling. When you get that stupid 2-yard dump route to the running back, he just floats out there and you got a cornerback or a linebacker waiting on him. That doesn't scare defenses at all, and from a lineup standpoint of the formation, it's very predictable. Despite the backup quarterback, I'm going to go with Oakland here. I just think West Coast game, Baltimore doesn't travel well. I'm going to go with Oakland on this one.
It's hard. It's tough.
So then it leads us into a NFC West matchup. We have the Seattle Seahawks going to Los Angeles Rams. They look like it. Sean McVay's doing a good job out there, but we have Seattle -2.5 on the road. So implying that LA would Seattle would have to win by a field goal in L.A. Justin, we see obviously the jacket, the sweater that you wear. I just thank God it's the Rams one and not the green and yellow Afghan. But
well,
wait, hold on. You're just gonna skip over the Afghan comment?
We're skipping over that.
That face-to-face episode. Everybody watch it.
Go back and watch that. Yeah, put in the comments what you think about the green and yellow Afghan he was wearing in that episode.
So, call it a biased pick, but I'm gonna take my team here. All right, +2 at home. I'm not ruling out a Seattle victory, honestly, because, in the past, we know how good Seattle's been. We know how bad the Rams have been in past years, but it's a new year, and it's +2 at home. And also, Seahawks are having a lot of problems with their offensive line, and they just got another running back injured. If they're going to be one-dimensional, it's going to really give them problems. So we'll see what happens. I'm taking my Rams on this one.
Well, the Rams went to Texas and bitch-slapped the Dallas Cowboys, so I'm going with the Rams, honestly. They're hot. Looking good. Did you just disgrace C.J. Mosley? Put him back up.
This might be where he is instead of on the games on Sunday, but okay.
Again! Bitch-slapped him. Dallas lost to the Rams. I don't know who the Rams are this season, but they ain't the Rams to pass. I'm going to give them the chance, and they're going to beat Seattle this weekend.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go with Seattle.
He's still salty.
One thing that Seattle taught me last week, of all the questions that you have about this team, is their defense. When in doubt, their defense comes through. Now, I know it was against the Colts, but, it was close first half, but in the second half, Seattle just made it ugly. They somehow got to the quarterback, and I think they don't necessarily sack or intercept as much as what they did in the past, but they can still pressure. The only thing that worries about me is obviously Seattle's offensive line with Aaron Donald being able to get pressure. This is like second or third game back, so I'm worried about that. But I'm going to go with Seattle on the road. I think they find a way to get it done. I don't think it's a huge win, but a field goal is feasible. Russell Westbrook still is a threat with his legs. He can extend plays. There was a couple plays last week where he found the deep man, Doug Baldwin, down the sidelines. Richardson's playing very well. I just can't count them out. No. And they always play, interdivision games. They always play them close.
It's a rivalry game. You just never know.
But I do like Sean McVay. So that leads us into my bias pick. Unlike Gerald here, he's like a neighbor. He plays both sides of the fence.
I want them to win. I'm just saying.
But I'm just saying. You ever watch Home Improvement? Wilson that hangs on the side of the fence. That's Gerald. He switches sides. Oh. But anyway, we have Green Bay going to Dallas. Obviously, we know Dallas lost at home last week. But Dallas is a -2 at home, implying they'd have to win by a field goal. Obviously, this is a rematch of last year. Dallas got knocked out of the playoffs by Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers with the most amazing throw I've ever seen on the sideline to Jared Cook. Justin, how do you feel about this one?
So this is Green Bay on the road +2.
+2 in Dallas. Last year, it was in Dallas as well, I believe.
I'm going to take Green Bay. I love picking Green Bay. What can I say? And, depending, it doesn't matter.
You were wearing their colors in the episode with the Afghan.
It doesn't matter who their running back is, okay? Honestly, we got some injuries there. Maybe this Aaron Jones kid, who I think is really good, is going to start. Maybe someone else starts. It doesn't really matter. Okay, Devontae Adams a little banged up. Doesn't matter. It's the Packers, all right? They're a really good, prolific offense. If my Rams could get it done, I think the Packers can get it done.
Little banged up. Danny Trevathan got suspended a game because he almost beheaded him. But anyway,
Gerald, his existence.
Gerald, go ahead.
You guys weren't even good enough to beat the Rams. It's a tough game, Green Bay versus Dallas. But it's in Dallas, and that changes everything.
Does it?
I wouldn't go that far, Gerald.
Not necessarily, honestly. It's the Rams went to Dallas and did it. But, again, another team I don't see losing 2 times in a row. I'm going to go with Dallas. I just, honestly, with Green Bay and their injuries and the amount of inactives, I don't know if it's going to be enough to travel into Dallas and pull out a miracle here. So, yeah, Dallas, here you go.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with my team on this one. I still think Aaron Rodgers finds ways to get the job done, but I'm not going to go against my team. You're telling me they only have to win by a field goal. So I'm going to go with them. I still have nightmares about what happened last year, but I will have wet dreams after this week when Dallas beats Green Bay at home.
Or is it because Ezekiel Elliott be running half shirtless?
Look, man, whatever gets the job done.
Whatever gets you going, bro. No judgments. It's a judgment-free zone.
Look, you may look at his navel. I don't, okay?
I'm just saying, it's a judgment-free zone. Like Planet Fitness.
Look. Okay, but I'm gonna roll with Dallas at home. You're telling me they only got to win by a field goal. Yeah. I still think it is a close game, but I'm gonna roll with the home team here. I'm gonna roll with my team. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Then it leads us into the only undefeated team remaining. We have Kansas City on the road in Houston. Houston is a +3.5 at home, implying that Kansas City will have to win by 4 points or more. Justin.
You know what's funny is I actually like Houston to win this one straight up.
Terrible pick.
I'd like them to win it straight up, putting that first L in Kansas City's column. I have to admit...
Wrong.
Hold on.
I have to admit on air right now,
wait for this.
I was wrong about Deshaun Watson.
Wow.
Because here's the thing. He's coming off a 5-touchdown game as a rookie against the Titans. It's impressive.
A banged up Titans defense.
Granted, I still have some questions about how he can throw the deep ball, but does he really need to? He's mobile. He's got the short and intermediate passes down. And
it's funny how a couple weeks can
the Chiefs eventually have to lose a game. All right? I think this is going to be the one.
This man has written articles, tweets, gone on air in his own face-to-face video about Deshaun Watson. To the point where I even traded my fiance for Deshaun Watson just to troll this son of a gun. And you're now saying you've been converted? Are you a believer?
Hey, sometimes you produce and it leads people to change their mind. All right, like I said, I still got questions about the deep ball, but he's shown he can do everything else.
There he goes. There's same Justin.
He's shown he can do everything else, and the Chiefs have got to lose a game eventually. This could be it.
As much as I like Deshaun Watson, I love everything about this kid, his backstory, you know, where he virtually coming from nothing to virtually become great. And his generosity, you heard the story about the ladies that worked in the cafeteria.
Giving his first game check to the cafeteria ladies, that was nice.
The guy's one of the nicest humans ever probably to play the game. But nice guys finished last, and I think Kansas City's going to stay undefeated.
Yeah, I like Deshaun Watson as a human being. I do like him as a player, but I think Kansas City remains unbeaten here. If you remember, Kansas City was basically down the entire game against Washington last week. They went up by a field goal, and they actually ended up covering the spread just due to Washington throwing a lateral and fumbled it, and Justin Houston ran it in for a touchdown.
It helped my fantasy team so much, dude.
It helped my pockets because I bet on that game. But that's in any way, shape, or form that had nothing to do with this. But I think Kansas City does remain unbeaten here, even though it is on the road. When you talk about what Deshaun Watson has been able to do, it's being against a banged-up Titans defense. It was against a horrific, which we will see tonight, a horrific defense in New England. And then I believe there was a game where they actually played not even a formidable defense. They played Cincinnati on Thursday night, and I think they put up maybe 9 points. So I still think there's room for improvement. He is a rookie. I think mistakes will be made. If any mistakes will be made, it will be this week.
Sorry.
And like I said, I think Kansas City, not having any shortened rest. I mean, they did play a Monday night game. This is a Sunday night game, so you're not talking about Sunday at 1 o'clock. You're not talking Thursday. So it's just maybe minus a day. I still think Kansas City gets it done. I like Alex Smith. Gerald calls me his doppelganger, but, hey.
Nobody was liking Alex Smith in previous years. That's all I'm going to say.
Alex Smith has been, where one is on my fantasy football team this year. I did come up 0.28 points short this week for the win. I did lose again. But, in past leagues, I mean, Alex Smith has been on my team or either the backup. He's a game manager. He won't lose games. Mm-hmm. He doesn't throw picks. He doesn't make bad decisions. And I think at least when it comes to the regular season, that wins games. His questions always arise when he comes in the playoffs. Obviously, Andy Reid hasn't been able to get it done. But during the regular season, he does not make mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Smith definitely has shown in Kansas City, it's been like the resurrection of his career.
And he can run.
Yeah, he can run.
And the thing is, like, people negate that. I mean, when he was in San Fran before he got hurt, he was one of the top rushing quarterbacks in the league. He ran for about 35, 40 yards last week. And people always talk about Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that's creating any quarterback controversy in Kansas City. Mm-hmm. He couldn't be worried about it whatsoever. And to be honest, he's playing the best he's ever been in his 12-year career.
I agree. I mean, I think for the kid Patrick Mahomes, he has a good mentor ahead of him. And I think Yeah.
I think he's going to do great.
It's the perfect system. It's the perfect system for this.
Yeah, Andy Reid is set up for the future to
Yeah.
stay in Kansas City. I mean, you look at the great quarterbacks. They sat behind people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Steve Young.
You look at Steve Young. You look at the Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre.
Tom Brady.
Nope, exactly. Now it takes people to get hurt. I mean, you look at Tony Romo. He sat behind Drew Bledsoe. Drew Bledsoe got hurt. But nobody does that anymore. They throw a rookie under the fire and just sees what happens because they want to win now or they want to get him playing time now, which leads us into the last game, Monday night. We have a rookie quarterback starting at home. Minnesota on the road in Chicago. Chicago is a plus 3.5 at home. Rookie quarterback starting. Justin?
I'm gonna go with the Vikings here. I just feel like, to me, and Trubisky could very well be better than Glennon. In fact, I wouldn't doubt it. But it's just the Vikings have shown me enough that I'm confident picking them here. Like their defense. Like what their offense can do. Even with Case Keenum under center, not that bad with the offense. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Dalvin Cook is injured now. That's
out for the year.
That's something to factor in. They're not going to have him. They may end up going with more Jerick McKinnon if they're smart instead of Latavius Murray. But we'll see what happens. But I like the Vikings here.
Yeah, this is another good game. Again, I think the X factor will honestly be how Trubisky will play in primetime. This is his first start.
First start.
Primetime game.
It's at home, remember, and they do have a running game. So.
It's tough. It could be tough it's tough for even most starting quarterbacks to play primetime. Let's be honest here. But is he going to be able to overcome that? I don't know. It's going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be one of the better Monday night games this year. Honestly, there's a lot on line. Another rivalry game. But I think Minnesota's going to pull it out. I think they're going to at least cover the spread. I don't know who's going to win. But they're at least going to cover the spread.
I'm going to go with the rookie at home. I think they're going to spend a lot of time getting the run game going. And, the one thing I do have questions about is Chicago's defense, and now with Danny Trevathan, being suspended one game. But Minnesota has tons of questions as well. I understand that Case Keenum did go off. Stephon Diggs had 2 touchdowns, 2 weeks ago. But Dalvin Cook's out. He was the biggest threat in the running game. I don't think Latavius Murray is going to get a bulk of the touches. Like Justin said, I think they should go with McKinnon. He's better in the passing game anyway. But I'm going to go with Chicago at home. I just think they have something to prove. I think sometimes when you start a rookie quarterback, there is some type of spark. And all you need is maybe that one big play or a couple completions on the first or second drive to get his confidence going. I think Chicago pulls it off at home. I might even pick them to win straight up. But, it is a tough defense to start. But start against, I should say, for first start ever. But I'm going to go with Chicago as the home team in this one.
All right, well, that's going to do it. Good picks this week, and stay tuned for following weeks. We're going to keep doing this. Justin, Gerald, Chris here, LitTube, and stay tuned for future videos.
And don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and don't forget to tune into our last episode of Couchside this week. Take care.